Big blue wobbly thing that mermaids live in. See.
Hello everybody, hope you're doing alright. Today I'm going to be doing part C of my CD collection. Yeah! Woohoo! Get in! Just when I thought I was going to get through the real slog of B, I've realised that C is actually just as big. So I'm going to be going through this collection probably as quick as I did in the previous section, the B section. So yeah, sorry if I once again feel like I'm rushing through these, but again, I don't want to keep you guys here for eternity. So I want to quickly mention as well that if you were watching the B, mentioned my Bowie collection and thought that, I'm a bit short-handed here. I'm sure I had a few more. Well, I found 2 other CDs by him lying around the house. I want to quickly show them here. Again, pretty certain I have more by him, but never mind. Space Oddity and Let's Dance. Sorry, but anyways, right, so let's get started with my collection here. I hope you can see it. So we're going to start this collection update with some fantastic soul music. It's quite psychedelic as well. This is Terry Callier with What Colour Is Love. And this has some absolutely amazing tracks, and it's just kind of otherworldly, which you wouldn't really associate with soul music, but honestly, this is just an essential listen in my opinion. The main tracks I would recommend you guys try is the title track, the first track, Dancing Girl especially, and the last track, You Don't Care, which has just got this really epic feel to it. It feels like it could be played at the end of a western or something, so yeah, check that out. Got a sort of what is becoming a classic hip-hop album. This is Purple Haze by Cameron. Yeah, this is an album that was made in sort of the mid-2000s, so it's got that sort of bling era sound to it. So very bombastic production, but this is actually a really solid album. If you're a fan of Kanye, then he produces on a few tracks on here as well. Specifically, I think you should guys check out Leave Me Alone Part 2, and there's a track called Down and Out with Kanye West on it as well. But yeah, there's a lot of really good tracks on here, so give that a try. I didn't actually realise I've got so much Can. Yeah, so Can, classic psychedelic krautrock band from Germany, were mostly prominent in the late 60s to mid 70s, especially with the original lineup, which most people consider the superior lineup, with the original vocalist. So yeah, 4 albums I've got here. The debut, Monster Movie, most people's considered classic Tego Mego. Well, this is a classic psychedelic rock album, you need to try that out. I'm not going to try and pronounce this name of the album, but this has some really great tracks on here, like Sing Swan Song and Vitamin C, I'm So Green as well. Those are great tracks. My favourite is Future Days. This is kind of, again, got their original krautrock sound, but is a lot more ambient and quite peaceful sound, and it's not as busy as the other tracks are. They usually are a bit more soothing sounding. So, I mean, there's only 4 tracks on here, but they're just all brilliant. My personal favourite's probably either... honestly, they're all just brilliant. This is the one I would say is their best in my opinion from what I've heard. But all of the ones I've shown are all really good. Soundtracks, I know a lot of people say that one's a really good one too, but yeah, Can, great. This is the debut album by a really classic doom metal band, Candlemass. This album is something that you guys should really check out if you're a fan of very old school doom metal. So we're talking basically Black Sabbath here. The only track I've really tried on here is Solitude, the first track, and I think I've heard a few other tracks, but that one really sticks out to me mainly because it's the first track, of course. But yeah, so if you're a fan of Black Sabbath, these guys are worth checking out, and I know they've made a few other albums which are also supposed to be highly regarded, so I need to get around to trying that soon. And we're going to be showing here some brilliant underground hip hop. This is Cannibal Ox with The Cold Vein. Basically, if you're at all a fan of Run the Jewels, or specifically LP, you want to be going back to, I think this was 2001 when this came out. Yeah, so just nothing sounded like this when this came out. It's got like a very futuristic sort of sound, sort of cyberpunky, but the lyrics are very philosophical and existential and very deep. But I think you guys would probably enjoy this if you're one of those people who enjoys hip hop for how unique it can be, and specifically through appreciating something that might be something that you might enjoy after multiple listens, which is something I think this album is, because it can kind of wash over you and is a bit much. This one, because it's just so packed, because with LP, his production's just always extremely immaculate. But yeah, I think my favourites on here, the F Word, Iron Galaxy, Adam, there's Painkillers is on here, yeah. Just, yeah, essential hip hop album. Now I get to talk about who I've always said since I was in college is my favourite artist of all time, Captain Beefheart. I'd love to do a discography review of Captain Beefheart, so a bit like other bands, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'd rather just kind of show what I've got here, and then in the future I'll go into it with a lot more detail. I did review a few of his albums on my older channel, so if you want to check them out on my old channel, I've done a review of Safe as Milk and Trout Mask Replica and Shiny Beast Batchin Puller as well. They're old, so they're not the best, but you know, just in case you wanted to see me for now, talk a bit more in depth, and they're there for you if you want to check them out. Yeah, so Safe as Milk, Strictly Personal, Trout Mask Replica, Mirror Man, the Mirror Man sessions technically. So originally when Mirror Man came out, it was a shorter album. Long story short, Strictly Personal, which I've just shown, and Mirror Man were originally supposed to be a double album, but I think the record company didn't allow them to make such a big album, so they had to spread it over 2 albums. So the Mirror Man sessions is like the original album plus a few bonus tracks, which kind of give the sound of what the double album would have been like, which I think it was going to be called It Comes to You in a Brown Paper Bag or something. Anyways, the Spotlight Kid. Oh yeah, Blue Jeans and Moonbeams. Yeah, so I'm missing one album, I think. Technically just one album. So yeah, I'll try and get around to listening to that soon. What's on that one album? Oh no, I don't have a Clear Spot either. Yeah, I've just realised. Where's my Clear Spot gone? Oh, of course. Yeah, silly me. Yeah, so this has Clear Spot on it as well. There you go. And they've remastered Link Mike to Calls Off Baby on CD, so I could pick that up, but I've always owned it digitally, so I'm supposed to complete the collection. I should get around to doing that one day as well. But I still need Unconditionally Guaranteed on CD too. Anyways, Shiny Beast, Batchin Puller, Top of the Radar Station, and finally his last album, Ice Cream for Crow. Yeah, Captain Beefheart, man. Guys, check him out. You'll never heard anything like him. So, going from Captain Beefheart to Captain Jazz. This is a collection of, I believe, everything that these guys done. This is classic emo music, double CD. I think it's huge, yeah. So, not much to say about this. If you like your old school, I think this is Midwest emo. If you like your emo, Captain Jazz. Caravan, again, if you want your classic 60s sort of psychedelic music, you got to try Caravan. Only own one album by them, but this is an essential classic. My favourite's always been Love to Love You, but as well as that, obviously 9 Feet Underground's just like a magnum opus. Again, a bit shortcoming when it comes to my collection of this group, but I know there's a box set on CD, so I might end up getting that of all of the albums. The Cars. This has great tracks on here. In fact, all of the tracks are really solid. At least my favourite's always been like I'm in Touch with Your World, Just What I Needed, of course, My Best Friend's Girl. Yes, Don't You Stop's a catchy one. Bye Bye Love's catchy. So yeah, if you like your new wave, gotta try the Cars. Car Seat Headrest Twin Fantasy. This originally came out a few years ago, but was remastered. Well, technically remastered. So this CD has the original version of Twin Fantasy as well as the 2018 version of it as well. So it was basically remade in higher fidelity. Can be enjoyed in different ways, depend on your aesthetic enjoyment. But either way, this is like a classic sort of LGBT sort of lo-fi indie classic, you know, so worth checking out. So this is one of my first plunges into heavy metal. This is Carcass with Surgical Steel. This is the only Carcass album I've still listened to, so I need to get myself sorted with that. I know, because I know they've made a lot of death metal classics, grindcore classics as well. So I always got a surprise when I put this on, because the first little intro sounds like a Queen song, and then it goes into the next track, thrashes, Abattoir. And yeah, it's a bit different than Queen. Freddie Mercury when he's got a bit of a cough, yeah. Aye, but anyways, yeah, so now this is really solid, sort of melodic death metal. Guitars are really nice, really clean sounding, a bit like the surgical equipment on here, I suppose. Yeah, so I think you guys would enjoy this if you're new to death metal, because despite the harsh vocals, these guys can still make some catchy sort of melodies with the vocals too, and obviously all round just extremely well done songwriting. So yeah, this is a really good album, but like I say, I need to try out more of their stuff. Right, I used to own a lot more Johnny Cash. I own quite a bit of his stuff on vinyl, so on CD, at least in my own collection, I've got the first volume of American Recordings. Just, this is one of my favourite album covers of all time. He's so cool on her. He looks so cool on there. Yeah, so this is really good. Very dusty sounding. It sounded like the perfect sound to like a Cormac McCarthy novel or something. Yeah, so Delia's Gone, Drive On, Why Me Lord, Bird on a Wire. It's a lot of, Like a Soldier, a lot of great tracks on here. It's very rugged sounding, and I know I need to try out basically all 6 volumes of the American Recording series. But yeah, if you like your Johnny Cash and you haven't tried the sort of later stuff after the 50s and 60s, then the American Recording series I know is an essential listen, but I can at least say Volume 1's great and an essential listen. Yeah, this might look weird, but the only Celtic Frost album I own is this one, which I know most people wouldn't say is their best, but I was interested in checking out avant-garde metal as it's known, and I wanted to know what's like one of the originators of that sort of genre, so I got told to check this one out. And yeah, it is basically metal, but it utilises instrumentations and ideas that you wouldn't usually get with other typical albums. But I think this is still a really good album. But again, I need to try out the first EP and the first album. So what's it called? Sorry, Into the Pandemonium. Yeah. Oh, it's good. And this is where I'm embarrassed myself, because I've got quite a lot of albums by Nick Cave, but I've yet to really get my shit together basically and listen to them. It's because when I went to CEX, I happened to find a lot of albums by him for quite cheap. In fact, I'm sure I own a few others by him. I've always enjoyed Murder Ballads. I used to have that. Don't know where that's gone. And there's another album that he made, which I cannot remember its name, that I used to really enjoy too. So yeah, but obviously he's been going on for so long. Those 2 albums, basically, I've barely dipped my toes into his discography, and all of the albums I own here, apart from one of them, I haven't really listened to yet properly. So forgive me, I can't really talk too much in depth for them. But this is his debut, There's a bit of trivia I can give for this, From Her to Eternity. If you're a fan of Wim Wenders, who's a great director, he made a film called Wings of Desire, and Nick Cave actually features in that, performing the song. So if you want to see a recording of that, I'd recommend it. This is Kicking Against the Pricks. Let Love In. This is the one that I've listened to a bit more. Abattoir Blues, I've had this for absolutely ages, and I don't know why, I've just never really listened to it too much. I know, Idiotic Day and Skeleton Tree. This was a totally weird buy, really left field. I got this for £3 and it's a nice box. This is Don Cherry, who's kind of like he's regarded as a classic jazz musician now, but this is mostly like free jazz, so can be quite divisive in terms of people's opinions on this. So this contains MU, not the 4chan forum, no, not that, it's nothing like that. I suppose it's as mental as that, but yeah, made myself laugh, that's really pathetic, I know. So he made 2 albums called MU Part 1, Part 2, and there's a one called Orient, which I've always liked the album cover, because it is, where is it? It's in here somewhere. A scrambled egg. Oi, that ant's eating my scrambled egg. Get off. One of the first CDs I ever got actually was thanks to my brother, a singles collection by the Charlatans, and even after all these years I've yet to actually check out any of the albums, but anyways, this compilation has a lot of fantastic singles. Yeah, pretty underrated group. The only one I know is pretty much the only hit single which you might recognise, but all of the songs on here are really good actually. So the Charlatans, underrated group. Childish Gambino, Awaiting My Love. This is fantastic. I was really impressed with this actually. I thought that Donald Glover has always been a very talented person in every sort of realm that he delves into, even if it is music or whether it be TV shows or anything he does. But this is really good. I've never really been a huge fan of his previous sort of pop rap stuff, although I've always loved the song 3005. So anyways, I thought this was actually a successful transition to psychedelic soul music. And I think this is a really solid album. There isn't really any bad tracks. In fact, the most sort of controversial song in terms of people's opinions on it is a song called There's an Arm in the Way. I'm trying to read the track listing here, thank you. Let's have a look. Oh, check it out, poster. I don't even know what that is. Why am I putting that up? That's a good poster. Nice big poster of my heart. Yep. This is all just to find that one song. Oh my god. California, thank you. Yeah, California, I love that track. Yeah, it's pretty goofy, but I love California, but you know, it's not my favourite track on here. I mean, obviously, Me and Your Mama, Red Bones over here, obviously, Stand Tall is a fantastic track. So, yeah, Boogeyman, Zombies is good. So, yeah, if you like your soul music, I don't see why you wouldn't check this out. I used to want a hell of a lot more Clash, but no idea where they've gone, apologies. So, for now at least, I won the debut album. Have you seen this? Carbon Neutral Environment. Have you ever seen a package like this? Look at that. What the heck? It looks like some sort of microwavable meal or something. I wouldn't eat this, like. So, yeah, debut album by them. Sort of meat and potatoes, punk rock classic. Jeanette Jones, Wyatt Ride, London's Burning's on here. Yeah, Police and Thieves. So, yeah, classic. But of course, London Calling, my favourite, just absolutely brilliant album, and I used to play this a lot in school, so I've got very fond memories of this album, and even at 19 tracks, all of them are just very familiar, and they're quite near and dear to me. I'd struggle trying to pick out my favourites because I've just been naming a lot of them, but I'll see if I can just say 3. Okay. Rudy Can't Fail, Four Horsemen, and Spanish Bombs. Those are my 3 choices. Alright, so Clips, these Southern hip hop group. If you know Pusha T, this was basically his group back in the day. This is just fantastic hip hop. Great production on here as well, especially with Pharrell working quite a bit on these albums too. So I couldn't really fault them. I mean, most people will consider this one the better one, but I enjoy this one just as much, Lord willing, with tracks like Grinded, for example. But yeah, just classic lyrics, great production. Again, that sort of bling era, but it's not dated whatsoever. Nobody ever made these 2 albums, sadly. Cloud Dead. So this is basically a pioneer for cloud rap as well. Very surreal, sort of ambient hip hop. Yeah, it's pretty pretentious, I will say, because some of the lyrics are just like what, and the rapper's kind of got a bit of a Danny Brown style to him as well. He's quite nasally, but this is it's basically a compilation. I think this is like originally a load of singles put together. So it's not really one that you know can like bump at the whip, as they say, but it's an album that if you consider yourself a hip hop fan and you want to try all of the different sort of sounds and stuff that hip hop can bring you, then this is worth at least one listen. So a bit like Captain Beefheart, I'm going to do the same thing eventually for the Cocteau twins. I've only made a few videos so far on this channel, but I think I've mentioned them every single video so far. If you kind of tell I'm a huge fan of Cocteau twins. So again, I'm just going to quickly blitz through these, but one day I will be going into much more detail. It's so finicky, but you'll notice that a lot of these are like not the remastered versions, because there's quite a bit of a sort of loudness war with the remasters. They're not very good, apart from one. So I own one of the remasters. It's like, I am finicky, but it's just I've got a strong passion for Cocteau twins, so it's just the way I am. Sorry. In fact, Garland's, which is worth mentioning because this old version actually has the John Peel sessions, which is another remastered version, so it's actually better off. You're better off getting like the old versions. It's weird, but yeah. So Garland's, Head Over Heels, Treasure, Victoria Land, The Moon and the Melodies. So this is them with Harold Budd, Bluebell Knoll, Heaven or Las Vegas, Four Calendar Cafe, Milk and Kisses, the 2 volumes to Lullabies to Violin. So this is like all of the on-album singles, EPs, just all of these sort of alternate versions and stuff. So collects pretty much everything they ever released. If you want to get absolutely everything by Cocteau twins, I think even now, they've updated the website recently. I noticed there might not be a feature anymore, but they had a music section on the website, and you could actually download even more for free. Bonus tracks and stuff that again weren't even on that collection too. And if you want to be a bit more anal about it, they released a box set of years and years ago, and that had like 4 songs, which again have never been released on anything else, but you can download those 4 songs on iTunes. That has a song called Dials, which is an amazing track. In fact, all of the tracks are great. All Cocteau twins tracks are great, man. That's why I love them. And finally, the BBC sessions. Songs of Leonard Cohen. This is an amazing debut album. Me grandmother actually was a big fan of Leonard Cohen and got us into him quite a bit. For now, I only own the debut album by him, so yeah, I know that's bad. I need to get my stuff together with that, but this is, it's just fantastic folk music. Again, I don't want to rattle off all of the tracks because they're all amazing, but Suzanne, man, when I first heard that, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And then when that went into Master Song, I was like, right, this is amazing. Yeah, I don't know why, but I thought like from 1967, I didn't think music would like really sound like this. It's hard to describe, but if you like No, scratch that. Just you've got to listen to this. It doesn't matter what sort of music you like. You've got to listen to this album. Another compilation, technically. So, Portrait of a Legend of Sam Cooke. If you haven't listened to Sam Cooke, man, that's my reaction. Oh, what you doing? That's what he's saying. He's not saying what you doing. I don't think he was a northern git like me, but yeah, Sam Cooke. Not much more to say about him. Oh, is this Colleen? Yeah, Colleen. So if you like your ambient music with a sort of lullaby twist to it, then I really recommend this. The Golden Morning Breaks, yeah. So basically, like the album cover shows, this sounds like a lullaby. It's very pretty music. It's all instrumental. She sings on later albums. She's actually got a really good voice, Colleen, but this is all instrumental. Just really pretty music. Suggest this to have a sort of nighttime album. Suggest you listen to this when you want to try and get to sleep or something. Yeah. So I've got a bit of a Coltrane collection here. I'm not talking about John yet. For now, I've got Alice Coltrane. I think, what was his wife at the time. So this is it's jazz music, I suppose, but she's a harpist, so a lot of it is very it's hard to describe. It's very spiritual. It's it's spiritual jazz, I suppose, but it's very, again, a bit like the Colleen album. You could use this to relax to. It's very beautiful music. John Coltrane, just not much I really need to say about him, just a complete genius, but I only own 4 albums by him, which for most other discographies is quite a few, but for him it's like nothing. So I've got I'm sure this is his debut, Blue Train. Yeah, great hard bop. Lazy Bird, Blue Train, the song. Locomotion's great, the song, Blue Train. Classic. I enjoy this a bit more. Giant Steps, especially the drumming on this is killer. But yeah, essential. This is the album I first started off with. Most people do. This is A Love Supreme. There's only 4 tracks, but it's a masterpiece. If you want to get into jazz, I'd probably start with this album. And this is the one I don't put on too much. A bit of a quiet taste, I know, but this is Ascension. This is his proper first dabble into free jazz again. I don't know what sort of mood you want to be in for this album, but no, it's one of those ones where I'd say listen to at least once, One of the first albums I ever got into when I was very young. This is Coldplay, Rush of Blood to the Head. I like Coldplay. This has always been my favourite personally, probably because I've had such an attachment to it. Just The Scientist and Clocks and Whisper Sign, the title track. It means a lot to us, this album, because it's just something that I used to have on all the time when my dad and my mum were driving somewhere. So it was usually this, a Kaiser Chiefs, a Kings of Leon, or the Chemical Brothers, or Snow Patrol, or Muse. It's like those sort of bands. It would always be in the rotation. This album was played heavily. So yeah, great album. Right, that's weird. I definitely have the album B. I don't know where that's gone, but I guess at least only for now. I have Like Water from Chocolate. This is Common, sort of conscious hip hop. Common, he's been going on for absolutely years now. Common, very lyrically fluent rapper. Got a great voice. He's quite soothing. And this is a really solid album as well. I'd probably start with the album B, but if you like him, I don't see why you wouldn't try this album too. A couple albums by Converge. So this is Jane Doe, and also You Feel Me as well. So these are, well, not this one as much, but Jane Doe is definitely one of those ones I had to play a lot to kind of get. This, for many listens maybe, if you've never tried anything as abrasive as this album, will just kind of wash over and you're like, what is this? This is just screaming and nothing more. But it's funny, you listen to it more and more and it just works. It's just what it is. I don't know, it's hard to describe. But maybe I would suggest check out the song Hell to Pay. Check out that song first. And that's a pummeling track, don't get us wrong, but if you think you can go a bit harder than that, then check out the rest of the album. So I wouldn't suggest this to everybody, but if you like your metal, I think you will really enjoy this. Same with You Feel Me as well, also a really good album too. Alright, so we've got some Elvis Costello. I'm a huge Costello fan, he's one of my favourite artists. Don't have absolutely everything by him, but yeah, I've got a decent collection here. A bit like Cocteau Twins, it's weird as earlier released versions of presses have the bonus tracks and stuff like that. So again, you're probably better off getting older prints if you can of these CDs instead of ones like this, for example. You probably recognise that if you're in the shops where it is just basically the album. But whatever, you know, if you just want the album, then nothing wrong with this. So debut, My Aim Is True. One of my favourites ever of all time, this album. So this year's Model is the second album, and if you like your power pop, if you like your new wave, essential, absolutely essential. Might review that one day. So this is, yeah, Armed Forces, so this has Oliver's Army, which still gets played on the radio even though it's got the N-word in it. I don't know how they get away with that. I guess because it's old, again, get away with it. No idea. Get Happy. Which one comes first? I think this one, Blood and Chocolate. So I think you'd say this is an old version, but you've got like bonus tracks here. The great album. And what rivals my favourite one up to this year's Model, Imperial Bedroom. Bloody hell, this CD's beat up terribly. I mean, what? God. Cream. So these guys are a classic 60s psychedelic blues rock band, obviously featuring Eric Clapton. Only own 2 albums by them, but that's like half the discography. Disraeli Geese. I got this because of the album cover. Don't judge a book by its cover unless it's a classic 60s album. And Wheels of Fire, so this is studio album plus a live album too. You know, they probably excel more being a live act, so I'd recommend you guys check out this, especially, probably even more than Disraeli Geese, despite that having the biggest hits. Again, don't know where they've gone, but I'm sure I had a few more Creedence Clearwater revivals than I do here. A bit like Disraeli Geese, I got this because of the cover, because it's nice and pastoral. Green River. And my favourite, at least from what I've heard, this is, of course, Cosmos Factory. I used to have Willie and the Poor Boys, I don't know where that's gone, but one day I'll probably buy all of the other albums, you know. Oh, Crotch Duster. This is basically like comedy, novelty metal, I suppose. They parody a lot of metal acts, but they actually hold their own as a group because they are really funny. An essential song. I don't care who you are, you've got to check out the song Mabel Sauce. Listen to that song. Listen to that song, man. And Cunnilinguists as well. These guys are a fantastic southern hip hop group with featuring Noah, who's just a producer who's just totally underrated. I only actually own this one album, but I was lucky. I don't have the sticker to prove it, but I was lucky to get this in this HMV deal where it was actually being sold for £1. So this is volume 3 of Strange Journey. So this is what got us into them. I mean, I don't know how anyone cannot listen to tracks like In the City, South California, Inner Space, and not think the production is just so lovely. Just, yeah, this is really good. But yeah, they're quite rare to own on physical copies, their discography, but you can get a lot of the stuff, in fact all of it, on Bandcamp for quite cheap. So just go on Bandcamp, get all of this stuff. They're just worth it. Never made a bad album. Check out Cunnilinguists. And last but not least, everybody, I'm going to talk about The Cure. Again, I'd love to do a discography review of The Cure. I don't have everything by them on CD, but I love The Cure. I went to see them last year, actually, at Glasgow. They were fantastic. If you ever get the chance to see The Cure live, do not think for a second that just because they've been going on for a while that they might have lost the sound. Robert Smith sounded like he was singing back in the 70s and 80s, so I'm not joking. So yeah, it was a brilliant night. But yeah, anyways, so what do I have by them here? So I've got Boys Don't Cry. Not actually the UK version of technically its album Free Imaginary Boys. This is the US version, which basically is the same album but gets rid of a few tracks and puts on a few of their hits. But yeah, great debut. 17 Seconds. Faith, one of my favourites by them. pornography. Sorry, I was just checking to see if my mum and dad were about. I didn't want to say that out loud. Head in the door. Disintegration. And kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. Look, if I wasn't going to kiss you the first time, there's no point asking 3 times, alright? God. Anyways, guys, that's it for this part C of my CD collection. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're all doing well, and I hope to see you guys in the next part D. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening.